Okay, good to see the place filling up a bit. Sorry, can I just make an apology for fretting late for somehow not bringing milk down? We're just trying to solve that problem. Okay, so our next speaker today is Sarah Taigel, who works at a company called East Point Geo, and they are basically a mapping, well, actually, I can't probably give it much technical background, but a mapping platform that Wild East has been migrating over to from our first incarnation to make the map of dreams, which is our kind of centerpiece, more kind of interactive and alive. But the whole point always was not just to be dots on the map. Much of that's a good start, but also stories on the dots on the map, and that's kind of in a way what we've been working in the background. But also to begin to, it's all very well saying 20%, and the future landscape vision, and it is just that. You need to be able to authenticate and justify that vision. The big thing for me in the importance of a future landscape vision is that we know from 50 years of spending hundreds of millions of pounds on conservation through farming, but also through other channels, that it doesn't work. It doesn't work because it's too few people, too few places, too fragmented. It just in the same way that we cannot operate like that. And it's interesting that as we get more and more enmeshed in networks, digital and or transport and everything else, that we've actually that in parallel deprived nature of exactly those networks. So to be able to, for me, the crystallization of that is, if you don't try and imagine a future landscape, we lose this once and forever chance of actually having a different landscape, which is partly this story and partly what we're trying to bring life to through justifying how the 20% might look. Anyhow, so it's been a ton of work for Sarah, and we haven't quite got to the absolute, haven't quite got into the clear blue sky yet, but looking forward to Sarah shining a light on it and where we got to. So without further ado, Sarah Taigel.
And mapping and pledges and how it all connects together. I won't read off every slide because that's terribly tedious, but my name's Sarah Taigel. I'm a geographer and a geospatial analyst, and I've been doing it for about 25 years. About 10 years ago, I decided that I didn't want to do the computer side of things anymore, and I went to study at the UEA and do my PhD around how geospatial technologies, GIS, augmented reality, virtual reality, digital hubs, all of the things that bring these together, citizen science, could be used to support communities and agencies in improving the landscape at a larger scale. So what did it actually bring a benefit to? I was invited by Wild East to come and help with the Map of Dreams, introduced by Carl Sayer at the UCL, and it has been a fantastic project to be involved with. I thought I'd give a bit of background for those of you who haven't heard the term geospatial, but it's one of the things that makes Wild East so forward-thinking in terms of adopting a geospatial approach. It means that everything is literally on the map. It means that decisions can be made, and we can assist in communicating solutions both at a parish level or at a hedge level, all the way up to those larger policies that are being decided about the landscape in which we live. So, making the base map. The map of dreams is a combination of different kinds of data and different layers. I'm going to talk about the base map and why that's so important, and then I'm going to talk about the pledges and why spreading the word is again a vital part. So Wild East originally asked me to find out where things were. Where are the woodlands? Where are the hedges? Where are the water bodies? Where are the ditches, the drains? Where are the highway grips? We want high-level, high-resolution data. Once I'd found those data sets, once I'd had those conversations, bringing all of that together in a map, into a geodatabase, and then that would indicate which areas were biodiversity rich. Where did those habitats come together? Extending those data sets by setting up different types of buffers around them. So a ditch might have a 10-metre buffer, whereas a main river or the Waveney might have a 50-metre buffer. Looking at wild edges, where can they run, where are they missing? And then a last part of it was very much about supporting Wild East as an organisation to use this data and be able to share the information within their schools education programme. So within my software, this is what it looked like. This is the nuts and bolts of the map of dreams. These are our hedges. This is an area up on the headwaters of the Ure. We can see lots of lines, buffers, various pieces of data. And then we've got one for the water as well. And we've got to bear in mind that this is over the whole Wild East region. We are talking millions of features. So it's as much, it was quite a marathon, shall we say, to get it all combined into one layer. And this then brings together and shows us where we've got that connectivity, where we've got the overlaps between the woodland, where's woodland missing, where might we expect to see it. So I think it was about 14.5 million features went into this. I was going to do a Map of Dreams live demo. I'm not actually brave enough, so I'm going to talk about it instead. So pledging to the Map of Dreams. This is the opposite end. Whereas there was only me in front of my computer, this is where everybody can get in front of their computer. We've recently redone the survey. I don't know how many. Show of hands, who's pledged? Okay, excellent, excellent. A few more people. We've recently changed the form because it needs to be easier to understand, and it was a little bit just all in one place. So please tell people there's now a new and improved version that's easier to use. We need to know who you are. We need to know if we can get in touch with you, for example. We also need to know whereabouts you are in terms of your street address. That's so that we can find out where those clusters of interested people are, where all our pledges are coming from. We don't share this information. And in fact, when you zoom in on the map, there comes a point where your point disappears. That's so people don't know exactly where you are. We want to know if you're part of an organisation or a business, because that means we can find out more about which organisations are getting in touch. And we're really interested in how much area, because that meets the need for the targets. Again, we want to know what kind of features you're putting in, because if we have a cluster of people who are starting to plant hedgerows, why is that parish or that street planting hedgerows? Who's been talking to them? Why are they so interested in hedgerows? What other things could they put alongside it? And we're allowing you to share photos as well. That's Heath the hedgehog, by the way. He's absolutely fine after a night spent at home. And when we look on the map, we can see the clusters of groups of pledges showing up. So the Map of Dreams, and this is an example of it. There's a few links in there too, but I can't spot them right now. So the Map of Dreams is made up of those pledges, those people pledges on the map. We've also got large pledges which have come from the water companies, perhaps putting in new wetland areas, the Rivers Trust, who've been working alongside the water companies, the Wildlife Trust, if they're putting together a new nature reserve, or councils, churchyards, etc. And then we have that underlying base map as well. What can it do? Because Wild East has taken this big approach of buying into a cloud GIS, we can run story maps. I don't know if anyone's seen the Wild Edges story map on the website, but we can run story maps. This one, for example, maps the new nature reserves as the Great Fen. As you scroll through it, it highlights it. So it's an overview of what we've got. Here we've got the Map of Dreams with some ancient woodlands. We've got some pledges. It allows us to track progress. It allows everyone to contribute. And finally, moving on to the project that you're going to hear more about, it allows us to build connectivity into projects between parishes and between different tiers of governance. Final slide, and then I'll stop talking. I thought of 5 words to describe the Wild East project and my involvement in it. It really is innovative. Organisations of this size don't tend to take a geospatial approach. And being able to do so means that everything that anybody puts on the map counts. It means something as soon as they click that button to submit it. It's completely collaborative. Everyone can be involved. It's dynamic, it's ever changing. It doesn't matter. When you go on it, there's always something else to look at. There's always something else that somebody else has contributed. It's defensible. The things that we've done, the buffers we've put in, the data that we've got hold of, it's all based in science. We can give an example of where we've got that from. So, totally unique, utterly defensible, completely innovative, totally collaborative, and very dynamic. So thank you very much for listening.